Alright, this is the introduction for my new channel, which is just for Magic the Gathering. I have been hesitant to start this for a while now just because I try to be a free-to-play player, and when I look at other content creators that do Magic the Gathering, they have all the cards and are able to showcase things that I can't. But with that being said, I enjoy Magic the Gathering for the most part, and yeah, my oldest brother originally kicked over Arena and wanted us to start playing with him. We used to play when we were teenagers, the actual card game, and when Planeswalkers came out, I actually put some time into Magic then. And with the whole online aspect, there's a lot of ways that it handles the mechanics for you that I love. It definitely took out some of the social aspect of it. At this point, my oldest brother has given up Magic Arena for actually just going to his local card shop, where my middle brother has really gotten into Arena. With that being said, I have kind of stuck with it, and I was really excited about the new Arena set, or the new Avatar set, and yeah, with that being said, I'd like to showcase my landfall deck. Hopefully it holds up well. Um, I was struggling with my mobilized deck, and my middle brother pointed out the best deck at this point is basically a mono green landfall for win ratio, and if the objective is just to get wins, that's a good way to get there. I quit playing after the Final Fantasy set, so I didn't really play much for Omen Path or the Spider-Man set. So my ranking dropped back down, and I am working back up towards Mythic. At this point, I'm working through Silver, and my deck might be overpowered for the majority of opponents that I'm going against. Let's get into it. My landfall deck should be pretty simple. It's all based on basically getting 1/1 counters out and steamrolling. Its main objective is just landfall and landfall triggers. I have 3 Tifas in here, and that works well with like my Terramorph Expanse and Evolving Wilds. As far as what I added here from the Avatar set, Shared Roots is a cheaper way to get landfall than I used to have. I don't get flashback for my old landfall deck. Had not the Spring Bloom Druid. Roamer's Runtime. Search your library for a basic land card, put it into the battle field tapped, and then shuffle. It has Harmonize, so I can play it again. But once again, that costs 3 for 1 land, and then the replacement that I got from Avatar is 2 for 1 land. We don't get the ability to replay it, but that's something I didn't really take advantage of often for this deck, and I found that change works well. Once again, it's about putting out counters, so I have Ride the Shoe Poof. Most of this in some ways does come from Final Fantasy. I really built out the set around the birds initially, the chocobos. Overprotect is super handy, and it'll come in to either for protection for the overflow or the push through. Ordeal of Nihilea. Between that Mossborn Hydra and Ordeal of Nihilea, it can just be almost a game over. I picked up some of the Badger Multiple Cubs to see basically how they work in the set. They have worked well. I haven't really gotten a lot of experience with them, and in some ways this is going to be a let's see how it works. And same with Earthbender Ascension. I've only gotten this to trigger once in my playthroughs, and one time that I got it to work, it worked well and played well. I also went online and was seeing what other people were throwing in their decks for landfall with Earthbending, and Rock-a-Lanche came up. Rocket Launch just allows me to earthbend X, where X is the number of forests, and I normally have a lot of forests because it relies on landfall. I threw in 2 toffs. I haven't once again had a lot of experience play with her, but underwhelming tends to be the word I'd use. I might swap her out for something later in the future, we'll see. The Traveling Chocobo is in a way what makes this main deck work, in that it allows for doubling my landfalls. So with the Terramorphic Expanse, I can quadruple my landfalls in a single round. Lu Fang allows me to get the counters when I sack my lands. So if I earthbend a land up and then it dies, Lu Fang will get me a counter back out of it. The only other thing I have is the Walk-in Closet, which allows me to play lands from my graveyard. So, that being said, let's see how it holds up. Traditionally, it has held up wonderfully, and I hope I can get a good showcasing for my channel introduction. There are a bunch of decks that I, in a way, prefer to play more because they have more interesting mechanics, but at this point I am just trying to grind my wins, and this is a fast-moving deck. So at a certain point that looks good. Don't really have much for landfall things, but I have 2 with birds, which allow me to play for my deck. So let's just see how this treats us. I can't really do anything to round 3, which is unfortunate. If I don't get another 2 drop here, I'll play the Terramorphic Expanse so I can actually hit half 3 mana. That being said, Shaz's Chocobo, Expanse, sack it, grab my land, down again. For 1, he can do 2 damage, that's good to know. Looks like we're playing Black. Attack for that token, which is odd. Assuming he has a direct damage to get me for that last point. No, he does not. So at this point, I'm going to play my Traveling Chocobo. I know I'm getting a land next round. 3, 4. I'm just gonna push. And the main thing is aggressive deck, and the objective is to just steamroll them. The Traveling Chocobo is not a legendary, so I can duplicate up on him. It rarely happens because normally it gets killed. So, but with that being said, I'm still not terribly concerned. Lose 3 life, sack from online. Well, it's in a way something I did forget about. I could go for 4 to get my overprotect. With 3, I mean, I could do my Evolving Wilds. I think that's in a way what I'll do. Pretty sure he's not gonna block. this point, he's gonna hit me for 8. He's down to 2 cards, so let's see what comes up. Trying to figure out when best to use my landfall. So if I Terramorphic Expanse, we'll look at it. At this point, that is game for me. Because if he pushes, surprised he didn't do that. Alright. That being said, he can probably push through with 10 damage. Recognize that card, which is from the Aether Drift set, which I have definitely played from. Doesn't have enough to play it again. With that, I'm pretty sure it's me. $19.20 trample. But the whole army isn't enough. This deck does hold up well, at least for the ranking I'm in. At a certain point, I've definitely felt bad for some of the people I've played against. As I mentioned, I'm a free-to-play player, so I didn't play a lot of the set, drawing a blank on the name of it. Either way, I mostly try to grind my dailies and put 1 hour of Magic into Arena a day, and yeah. So with that being said, give another quick showcasing of my landfall deck. I will probably call it. He has a higher ranking than I do. With this I can play my entire hand, and I like the looks of it. Wondering about next round playing the Petra Mole Cub. Playing red white. I actually really like the Bloomburrow set. I don't have a lot from that. I wonder if I should have played the Badger Mole Cup over. That being said, moving on. And since that was such a fast game, I will give it one more whirl. The landfall does hit fast and heavy, and I'm really appreciative of my brother's recommendation. I do spend most of my time trying to gain the coins to grind the tokens and just work through it. So there's some decks that I have that are stream decks. I do enjoy the deck building mechanic. I'm gonna keep it as I can play my whole hand. One of the things I struggle with sometimes is when to mulligan, and this might have been one of those cases that I probably should have mulliganed. Even though I can play my whole hand, I don't have a lot for creatures. I just have the Mossborn Hydra and Amber. Second Mossborn Hydra. You're going up against somebody that's red-white. I like the back of that card. Well, now that I have the Traveling Chocobo, I should have actually played the Chocobo before. Oh, I couldn't have played this covering. One thing is, I do make mistakes, and I try to learn from them. He's playing Mardu. Alright. That being said, I can play from the top, I can play my shoe poof, get some tokens. Yeah, this is over. If I shoe poof double, shoe poof double. That is good. It's hard and heavy. And there I'm always a little torn. Like, yeah, sometimes yes, sometimes no, or I just try to skip. Probably should be a little more honest with feedback on that regard. This is from the Spider-Man set, and once again, I didn't really play the Spider-Man set, so I'm not familiar with it. It's red-green with mana draw. 6/7, Vigilance, Trample, Haste. It's expensive, though. Either way. So, yeah. I look forward to showcasing some of my other decks in the future. As I mentioned earlier, like, I was kind of struggling with my Mobilize deck. It's super fun. My initial deck was one of the Kitties decks, but like, I really enjoyed my Otters deck, and my Dragons deck is fun. And yeah, there's definitely some decks that I would like to showcase, and I hope you guys look forward to it. With that, have a nice night.